Hey guys, before we get started, I just want to thank you all so much for 3,000 subscribers. That's amazing. Like Les and I, we knew it was getting close, so we're kind of, periodically checking, and then bam, showed up a couple nights ago. So yeah, we just want to thank you guys so much for getting us to 3,000 subscribers. Seems like a lot because it's almost 4 times the amount of people I had at my high school, so that's pretty cool. This time I have a review for you on A Walk in the Woods by Bryson. This is my first Bill Bryson book. For those of you who don't know, Bill Bryson is a pretty hilarious author. He's written a bunch of books. This isn't his first one, and it isn't his last one either, but he has written some travel books, he's written memoir, he's written some kind of specific history books, culture stuff, I guess. He's relatively well known for that certain, that certain market of people who like those kind of books. I like travel books, and I also really like reading about the Appalachian Trail, so yeah, that's why I picked up this one. Besides that fact, I actually back, I believe in August, reviewed Wild by Cheryl Strayed, and that book is about the lesser-known Pacific Crest Trail, which is on the west coast of the US. This is about the Appalachian Trail, which is on the east coast of the US. And so I was really excited to read this book just because since the summer I've been really getting into the idea of hiking these trails and possibly doing it sometime in the future myself. Generally, I absolutely loved this book. It was hilarious. There were so many moments where I laughed out loud. Now, it starts off with Bill himself deciding that he wants to hike the Appalachian Trail because he's recently moved to New Hampshire and he discovers that the trail is very close to his backyard. So he spends months planning, he gets books, he gets all his gear, and it sort of talks about his experience doing that, and then he ends up getting one of his old buddies from back in the good old days named Stephen Katz, and Katz and Bill decide that they're gonna start in Georgia and they're just gonna hike all the way to Maine. And on this journey, they talk about the trials and tribulations of hiking, the weird people that you meet, and his sort of fear of bears. And there are bears on the Appalachian Trail, but some people never even see them, but he was just exceptionally worried about them, which is why there's actually a bear on the cover, because it's kind of, a fun part of his story. And there was just the descriptions and just kind of the snarkiness that he sometimes puts into his books was just like perfect. It was my kind of humor. I loved it. He also, besides talking about hiking on the Appalachian Trail, he talks a little bit about the culture and the history, and so you get more of a backstory and how the Appalachian Trail even came to be, which I didn't read the book for, but it was nice to know because he does present it in a pretty interesting way. I read this book in about 4.5 days, which for almost 400 pages is pretty good, so that'll give you an idea of how much I like this book. I just didn't really want to put it down. There is a little bit of controversy with this book because he doesn't actually end up hiking the whole thing, and I don't really think this is a spoiler alert because the book isn't about the journey from Georgia to Maine, it's about the stuff that happens surrounding his adventures with the Appalachian Trail, not necessarily hiking it. And so yeah, they get to a certain point and Katz and him are they're extremely out of shape, just putting that out there. So when they get to a certain point in the trail, they realize, you know what, I don't think we're actually going to complete this. But he does kind of end up doing some section hikes, and of course that's when he starts exploring a bit more and you learn more about the culture and the history of the trail. And he talks about how he kind of misses doing those hikes because when you're on the trail, you hike for 20 to 25 miles a day sometimes if you're having a good day, and that's a lot of walking, and sort of that idea that you don't really have anything to do at the end of the day. You just have to eat some food, go to sleep, and then wake up the next day and do it again, whereas in the real world you have to worry about bills and whatnot. There is this sense of calm and knowing what you have to do every day, and I think that's kind of what he missed. Overall, I rate this book a 5 out of 5 stars. It was hilarious, awesome, loved it. If you guys like humor books and adventure stories that are not just about the adventure but about the culture and the history, definitely read this. If you're interested in hiking at all or just interested in learning about the Appalachian Trail, you can also, definitely pick this up. This is sort of reinvigorated my inspiration for hiking the trail. I've been doing so much research about hiking and just reading people's trail journals online about their accounts hiking on the Appalachian Trail, the Pacific Crest Trail, and even the Third Continental Divide Trail, which is another major trail but even lesser known than the other two in the US. Yeah, Les knows. I've been sort of crazily texting her. She's well aware that this book has sort of made me really excited about doing that. If you are even remotely interested in hiking the Appalachian Trail or have thought about it at any point, pick this up because I'm pretty sure it'll, you know, really get you wanting to go. So if you guys have read this book, let me know what you thought. I'm sure there's people out there who are a little pissed off that he didn't actually hike the entire thing, but everybody hikes their own hike. And I also want to know if you have read other Bill Bryson books, tell me which one I should read next. I'm talking more the travel side of things. I'm not really worried about reading his memoir and stuff right now. I just want to sort of figure out which travel book I want to read next. So if you guys have read other books of his besides A Walk in the Woods, let me know which one was your favorite and I'm gonna get that one ASAP. Thank you guys so much for watching. I believe everything's now below, so not only can you subscribe below, but you can follow us on Twitter and friend or follow us on Goodreads. Doobly-doo. I'll see you later.